And we're live. Thank you everyone for joining me on YouTube today. I'm really excited to offer this Buddy in Business style learning. We had to cancel Buddy in Business this year due to COVID-19, but I'm really excited this year to be able to give you guys a chance to do a business building workshop, but kind of at a more accelerated level, something we haven't done before. Sorry, I am running another tab over here right now just to get everything all set up. But I wanted to take us to that next level as a chamber of commerce, but also as a local business networking group and national. So I did offer this to people, not just in Plymouth area Chamber of Commerce, but this is in part with them instead of doing the Buddy in Business program. See over my shoulder here, you can see the Plymouth area chamber there. So what we wanted to do was offer something to help you understand what is a business, how does a business grow, how to grow your business, everything going on in business in the year 2020 moving forward, because really we need to be thinking 2025, not 2020, because what's already happening, it's already too late for. It's time to step it up and take it to the next level for years to come. So, all right, I'm going to pull up a screen share here and we'll get you going here. So, present standard. All right, so now I have us going here. So, ooh, I was on the wrong side. So, okay, first off, today's talking, it's the first module of 6 months worth of modules. So what we're first talking about is just what is a business? Exactly what is a business? So a lot of people, they may think they have a business, but as we're going to go through these slides, they're going to find out that maybe they don't quite have a business. So let's get started with today. I'm going to start off with a little video for you guys. My name is Shawn Moloney, and I'm a real estate broker, consultant, and podcast host from South Shore, Massachusetts. I have always had an entrepreneurial mindset that really began as a child before I could even remember it. As a serial entrepreneur, I started in the landscape and tree service, which I successfully grew to 16 employees and then sold after 10 years. Over the past 9 years, I've been able to build my realty company, Momentum Realty, from the ground up. As a tech-based brokerage, we rely heavily on systems and automation to do more with less. We currently produce 8 figures in annual sales and operate with over 13 agents. Winning Cape and Plymouth Business Media's 40 Under 40, as well as South Shore Home Life and Style Magazine's Best Of Award, were both huge accomplishments for 2020. This is just the beginning now. I've been able to build a team that will allow me to expand the brokerage into Rhode Island within the next year and nationwide soon enough. I am also working hard to grow my consulting business, Thoth Company, so I can use my knowledge to help others find success. Thoth Company offers consulting on startups, turnarounds, exit strategies, and helps you obtain the next level in your business. So I ask you now to please join my inner circle and take a moment to add my social profiles so I can help you grow as a fellow entrepreneur. All right, guys, so I just wanted to take a moment to let you know who I am as a person. Some of you know me, some of you do not know me. Some of you know me from Plymouth area Chamber, some of you know me from life, but others just don't quite know who I am yet. So first off, born in 1984, Weymouth, Massachusetts, small little town in South Shore, Massachusetts. There's a famous movie, Blow, with George Jung. He's the only thing really famous nationally from Weymouth. There's a couple other things, but nothing too common. From 1999 to 2003, I went to agricultural high school. What does this mean? I didn't go to your formal high school where you went to school for the entire day. I went to half the day of classes and half the day of agriculture. And what that meant is I got a lot less math, science, and all these other things than most of you. I got plant sciences and animal sciences and mechanic sciences, but I didn't take like trigonometry or any of those courses. So after that, in 2004, I decided I wanted to fix motorcycles, so I went to American Motorcycle Institute. It was a very fun time. I had a great time, learned a lot about motorcycles, learned a lot more about mechanicals and just really how to, fix everything all the way to how to deal with animals and farms and go into the school, tying it all together and learn how to fix machines. Kind of taught me how to be in certain industries. So then in 2005, I studied criminal justice over at Massachusetts Community College. Typical to a lot of people, my parents really wanted to see a degree. They really wanted me to go to college and be an employee. Loved it for about 10 minutes and then I couldn't stand it. Didn't get into criminal justice. I just didn't like a lot of the people. I do believe in criminal justice reform. I think that there's some changes needed ahead in that group, but overall, this wasn't the career for me. So in 2006, I decided to start a landscape company, ran that for several years, bought up another landscape company, got everything going. And during that time, I said to myself, geez, this isn't my forever career. This is a great job, but it's not my forever career. So I began to explore how to sell the business and got myself a business coach. So in 2011, before that all, I had actually started with the plan of getting into being a real estate brokerage. So what I did was I set myself up in real estate. So I went and got a job at Sotheby's International Realty over in Duxbury. Absolutely great firm. Can't say anything better about them. They're amazing people. So they got me working. I got learning the business. Then I got my brokerage license and I created a fully independent brokerage named Momentum Realty. Most people know of National Association of Realtors or the word realtor. Real estate agents are not all realtors. Realtors is a group of people who pay, and it's a super lobbyist group. So we actually pride ourselves on being movementors because we're an independent company. We're independent. We've done everything. We also don't belong to any franchises. So during this time, I had parallel two businesses. I had my tree and landscape company working, and I had my real estate company working. At which point, I finally felt like I understood enough to sell the company and the landscape company and move full time into the real estate business. And after having done all this and worked on several different projects, I have a news media company I'm working on, as well as I've worked with lots of different people through Buddy and Business and other things like that, that I decided in 2018 to start out my company, Thought Company, which is a consulting company. And as you saw in the slides before, it is just a brand who goes over startups, turnarounds, profitability, exit strategies, all different types of business. And it is practical for every business. Now, I've worked with everything from a hypnotist to someone who sells puppies. I've talked with people who sell dog bandanas. I've talked with people who do every single facet of entrepreneurship. And it works for all of them because what we teach is simple and true business core concepts. All right, so next slide. So let's go over some things a business must have. So first off, the difference between a business and a job. A business actually runs itself. A business is something self-sustaining that continues to produce income, and it should be a cash-producing asset. It should be something that, of course, you get your first few years of startup, but it should be something that even when you're sitting on the beach, your bank account is growing and the business is growing. So we're going to go over a couple things a business must have. So a business plan. Well, a business plan, a lot of people say, well, my plan is just to continue to grow. Well, my plan is to take over the whole area. My plan is to be the best. A business plan is a rough guide and outline telling us where we're going that is dynamic, not static. So when we have it going, we can change it as time goes on. So we really need to develop a business plan from day one and just know that it's dynamic. And inside of that business plan, we're going to have a marketing plan and a financial plan. A marketing plan is really important because oftentimes what we see is a cyclical event in business. We have the ups and downs and ups and downs. And what do they represent typically? It's like, okay, over here where we're down, we're going to do a bunch of marketing. Now we're really busy. We don't need to do any marketing. Oh my God, we're not busy. We need marketing. Now we're busy because we marketed. So instead of that, it needs to be a consistent marketing plan that continues to grow. So the thing that we always want to learn to work with inside a business is percentages. So if we have 100% of a budget, if we automatically allocate certain percentages to certain things, such as say you said 15% is for my marketing plan, obviously industry specific, you need to look at your own business. But once you say that, you obligate that money to there through your financial plan, you make sure that that marketing always exists. Now, if you're a solopreneur or if you're a smaller business and you're saying, how am I going to do all this? That's where sourcing needs to go. So we can talk about that in the future, but that's where outsourcing comes in. Financial plan. How do you say you want to do what you want to do without a financial plan? So what should the financial plan talk about? How much revenue? How much spend? What is the profit? Well, what are you thinking is going to be the profit for the year? And if you're planning your business, you have a long-term financial plan, like what type of equity are you building in the company? Do you understand how much a company sells for within the industry specific place that you are, like your marketplace? Is it 5 times EBITDA? Do you even know what EBITDA is? Do you understand why it would be 5 times that? These are things that oftentimes we find out only at the very end of having a business. But the thing to remember is at the beginning of having a business, the exit plan and the financial plan need to be in place. So next up, we need repeatable process. So a repeatable process. Why? Because in order to hire employees and in order to have it be successful as a business and run itself, we need something that can continue to do. One thing a lot of brands do for themselves to get them in trouble is they, instead of figuring out how to dominate a certain market segment, like how to take one piece of the market, they want to take the entire market. So they don't just offer lawn mowing, they offer lawn mowing, hedge trimming, weed whacking, they offer patios, they offer, ponds, walkways, all these different things. But the problem is they don't have a repeatable process. Not that there isn't a repeatable process for walkways and not a repeatable process for frog ponds and all this. But when they take the same two guys or ladies or whoever's working for them and they put them on all these different jobs, that person does not have a repeatable process. So they're guaranteed to fail you. And it's not their fault as an employee. It's going to be your fault as the business owner for not giving them a repeatable process. So of course, in time, could they learn each and every single one of them? Yes. But oftentimes us as employers and businesses, we have unrealistic demands upon people because people are very specific in what they do. So that's why we create systems. We systematically get everything done. So everything from what's the system to someone buying gasoline on the company card, all the way down to what's the system to make sure that the trash barrels are emptied. It's all important. We need to put it all together. And that's why we create policies and handbooks. So handbooks and policies is something most people cringe at. They mostly, at the time they hand it off to the person on the first meeting, you just got to sign this from HR. It's a pain in the neck. I know. That's not what you want to do, not how you want to feel about your systems, policies, handbooks, processes. All those different things all need to merge together to make it easy to work for you. But also remembering as a business owner that you have liability out there. And if you don't have it in your handbook, you can't enforce it. I recently got involved in an argument with somebody talking about the way the world works right now. We're in a cancel culture, right? Where people just decide they don't like what you said and they just simply delete it in their mind. But they also want your business to fire you. They want all these different things to happen. Well, as an owner of a company, you better be very careful when you're dealing with termination unless you have policies and handbooks and you have proven methods of how you've taught them. Because one thing is to get a false termination claim could end up ruling your business out. So understanding that your handbook not only protects you and your people, it protects you after the employment as well when they come back at you because you did something wrong. The other place is if someone comes and works for you, you let them go and it wasn't a handbook violation, they can also collect unemployment in the state of Massachusetts. So knowing your rights as an employer, it's not that you don't want people on unemployment. Do not take me wrong there. It's not that you don't want people to be able to quit, all these things. It's about protecting yourself because there are evil people in the world who will come back at your company through your policies and handbooks. And remember, I'm not a legal advisor. I'm not any of that. I can tell you guys, I hire out for this stuff. I personally write the policies and handbooks. And then I say to my legal team that I hire, I say, hey guys, here's what I plan on doing. Is this even legal? And that's where they tell me, yeah, Shawn, that's perfect. Or, hey, you need some alterations here. That's really important. Next up, hierarchy. What is the hierarchy of your company? And I know this might be laughable to some of you. You might say, Shawn, I'm here. I got one person. I am the boss. I am everything. Perfect. That's great. I want you to do that the whole way through. I want you to always know every single member of your company and where do they fall in? Where do they fall in line to the hierarchy? Why? Because what ends up happening, right, is in time as we grow, especially when we have friends, family type businesses, like originally Cousin Timmy over here, he's basically working right-hand man with me. And then suddenly, me and Cousin Timmy, I go, hey, Timmy, I just hired this guy, John. And now John joins. And now John and Timmy are in the yard in the morning. And Timmy says to John, because he's been here for a while, hey, John, go get that shovel. And John's thinking to himself, who's this Timmy guy? He's not Shawn, right? So we need to introduce from the beginning what roles people are at, but we also need to introduce what roles they're at in an appropriate way. So if someone's in there really early, you're at the base level of a company, do you want to tell them that they're the GM? I'd be careful about that. I would tell them that they're a manager at this point, and depending on how the company grows, there may be places for them in other places. But if you tell them the GM or the CFO or some huge title, and then eventually you realize, like, as you grow, you're actually getting more talented people and you're getting better people, moving someone down the hierarchy is pretty much career suicide. They're going to be gone. They're going to leave you. They're not going to stick around. So just keep in mind that the hierarchy, setting it up at the beginning, having a chart, it's laughable to a lot of people, but my original business coach said, the first day, if it's just you, you write Shawn and you write head of HR, head of financials, head of marketing, and you put every single job underneath yourself. And that way there, as you hire people, you can delegate and relegate who does what at the place. Last but not least, all successful businesses have talented people. So hire slow, fire fast. This is a tip and piece of advice that you should stick with you your whole life is hire slowly and fire fast. Go with your gut. We understand what's going on. Do not wait when you need to get rid of somebody. Far too often in business, we know somebody's an issue and nobody ever steps up to say anything. And instead of just being an issue mentally, like you don't feel comfortable with the person, it physically becomes a problem. What do I mean? It's the person that's unwilling to wear their safety helmet or their safety glasses in a process. And every time you look over, you're like, you need to do it. Soon enough, you're going to be rushing to the hospital because they poked their eye or they smacked themselves in the head. This is inevitable. This is why we wear helmets. This is why we wear safety glasses. But yet we don't want that awkwardness or that confrontation. Understand that you're a boss and the bosses have to make decisions based on business, and this is business. So the sooner you become, some people might call it a hard nose, but the sooner you become somebody willing to talk to people about what's going on, the sooner you're going to find great results with your people. But again, hire slow, fire fast, get talented people in. So next slide up here, slide 5. So places to start. Here's some places to start in business, guys. So this is just getting to know business and really think. So reading books. Reading books is a huge one. If you haven't checked out my website, it's my full name, ShawnPatrickMoloney.com. I have a book place in there where it's all got all my recommendations, mostly for consulting and real estate business, but there's also spiritual ones. There's all sorts of ones that I've read. They're in there. But reading books all the time, I would recommend as a business owner and entrepreneur, you're at least putting 1 to 2 books into yourself a week. What type of books? No, I'm not talking story books. I'm not talking the next Lord of the Rings or any of this stuff. I'm talking good books. I'm talking everything. I would highly suggest after today's class that if you're in between on whether you own a business or you have a job and whether you want to own a business or not, I would highly recommend the book, The E-Myth. And that's a great book to get started with. It goes over the idea of the entrepreneurial myth. The other book, if you're already, you're sure you are in this and everything like that, I would start with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and any of Robert Kiyosaki's books. I would start right there, get the baseline, and then continue through his whole series, Cash Flow Quadrants, and a lot of other ones. But reading great books and surrounding yourself by readers is going to help you get educated. Because let's be honest, guys, turn on the television right now. You think you're getting educated? No. You can certainly go through YouTube and podcasts and things like that, of course. But realize most of the people who make it to the point where they actually printed it in a book have taken more time to think it up than a podcaster or a YouTuber. So that's why I start off with it. But listening to podcasts is great. I mean, I have 2. I have Real Facts on Real Estate, and I have one called Homeownership. On Real Facts on Real Estate, we go over all the things to being an industry pro. And on the homeownership one, we go over owning, buying, and selling a home. So these both act as a certain facet of my business. The Real Facts one is a lead in for people that want to join the company. And the homeownership one is one for consumers that want to buy. So podcasts, while they be educational, most of the time have some sort of advertising behind them. YouTube's. It's amazing what we can do with YouTube. I mean, I can remember when I was just getting out of tree and landscaping, oftentimes when we fix a piece of equipment, what we do would be we'd jump on YouTube, we'd type in exactly what we're looking to do, and then we'd watch the video simultaneously to doing the act. So if we're changing the truck tire on a huge tire, okay, now we're watching it on video, or we're trying to change the starter on an engine. We're in there watching it on video. So next up, attending seminars. Attending seminars is a big one to be in business. Why? Because who you know is more important than what you know in business. And knowing everybody is really important. And getting to know the right people really comes from attending seminars, but also great information comes from attending seminars. Realize some of them are giant sales pitches and you got to pick and choose your seminars. but getting in the right places, getting into inner circles and meeting people can really open up doors. If any of you saw me on Real Estate Domination, speaking with Ty Lopez, Jerome Maldonado, all those other guys, you might say to yourself, well, how does this guy from Plymouth know those guys? It's from attending seminars and it's from being involved. Instead of just sitting back while I'm there, going out and talking with people. So another great place to start as a business owner is taking risks, right? We have to be willing to fail. Have to be willing to fail forward. And if you don't fail, you're never going to learn. People who have the most success also have the highest rate of failures. They just don't dwell on them. When we do something and it goes wrong, we just say to ourselves, well, that didn't work. How do I be successful next time? Instead of just saying, geez, that didn't work, they really hurt, I'm going to curl in a ball and talk about how I can do it next time to my friends who have nothing to do with the business. All right, so weeks ahead, getting to know your business. So do you have a business or a job? Do I understand delegating tasks? Am I ready to hire? So this module set, module 1, is really just going over being an entrepreneur. Next up is understanding that business plan. So I really want you guys, as we work these modules, to be actively at home, engaging, asking questions in the comments bar, engaging me through email, whatever, but I want you to get moving on all these actionable items. So already we have the book E-Myth, or we have Rich Dad Poor Dad. I expect by December 10th, you have that done. Not just done, but done and understood. And I know you might say, geez, that's only 7 days away. Yeah, well, this is entrepreneurship. We move fast. If you ever seen Facebook, Google, Instagram, any of them, how long did it take them to build what they build? And where's your business going? I want to rapidly accelerate your business because I'm going to rapidly accelerate you as a business person, because I understand people like yourself and myself. We understand things better than most people. We understand that in order to take our lives to the next level, we have to get involved. So next up, understanding business plan. What is a marketing plan? What are KPIs? Why do we need goals? Why do we need a business plan? So going over just the general concepts of understanding the purpose and why instructions and things like that aren't just there to annoy us, like how they help us. And then we're going to go over the Great Awakening in business. Is my business built for 2021? We're going to go over a lot of questions you should be asking yourself. What should I work on during the off season? That's the next one. We have seasonal businesses here. Why do I always seem to pay me less? This one's going to go over how to pay yourself first, how to make sure that your pay is always there, and that if someone has to wait, it's a creditor and without consequence. Okay, so we're not talking about going into debt. We're not talking about riding debt. We're talking about paying attention to the cash flows of your operation. How can I take my job and create a business? This is for those of you when we go to get to know your business next week and we talk about, do you have a job or a business? We're going to talk about how to turn it into a business instead of a job. So again, back to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you're going to learn about the cash flow quadrants, right side, left side brain, and business. So what we're working towards is the B&I categories. What we're working towards is business and investor categories, not entrepreneur and self-employed, but business and self-employed are two different things. Self-employed is what I call a job. Now, time to grow. We're going to go over, do I have a business or a job? I think that's a typo there. Here we have module 4 is not set up correctly. Someone else did my slide. Sorry about that, guys. So I'll skip over that one. Module 5, we have e-commerce and implementing your business. We have automation. We have outsourcing locally, and then hiring with precision. So that's an important one there. Commerce and implementing your business is really important to just understanding where you fit in the economy. Automation, really important to get what's going on when it comes to making things happen automatically in business without having problems. And then outsourcing locally. I talked about this earlier. I was saying, when you're growing and you're a one-man operation, how do I get it all done? A one-woman operation, it's time to outsource. And then hiring with precision. We talked about hiring slow, firing fast. What is hiring slow? What does it look like? Where should you start? We're going to go over all that. And then in module 6, it's really just the commencement. We're going to talk a little bit about how to put it all together and then where to take this entire lesson that you've gone through. So thank you guys there. Let me jump over the next slide. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple slides about myself. I'm going to talk during them. I'm just giving these to you so you can find all the different things to do with our social platforms and any of the other things. So guys, what is a business? A business is a self-sustaining, money-producing operation that can hire, fire, earn, grow, and do all that without you there. Most of you have jobs. I'm proud of you for being an entrepreneur. I'm proud of you for where you're taking it. And I know that the only thing that's blocking you between here and there is just simply understanding the concepts of how to take it to there. So that's why I put together this free course. I'm super excited. If you guys haven't yet, the YouTube channel, I would highly recommend getting over there and also jumping on and subscribing to this, because if you subscribe to this, you're actually invited to the backside of the links where if you message me, you can ask questions live during the event. So if you go to thoughtcompany.com, you follow through the prompts, it's right on the front page to sign up for the class there. But otherwise, feel free to follow any of my businesses on each and every one of my channels. I give away a lot of free information to grow. But remember, we're talking about what is a business, and a business is something that runs itself that can continue to perpetuate. Now, do they have to think dynamically? Do they have to continue to change? Yes, but that is why we hire talented people and we continue to grow with them. We don't just sit back and wait. We get the people together. So here's my 2 podcasts I mentioned earlier. Again, Real Facts on Real Estate, helping educate real estate people. And then the other one is focused on home ownership. Now, guys, this is just one way that you're just seeing like some cheats right here from me. Like, how do I grow my business? Well, one of them is things like Real Facts on Real Estate and home ownership. I create podcasts and give them away for free. I give people great knowledge in hopes that they come back and see my services as a great value, and that they come back and want to end up hiring me in some way, shape, or form, or joining my company. Last but not least is how to reach out to me. If you got to get a hold of me anywhere, and my email is Shawn@ShawnPatrickMoloney.com. You can find me everywhere. But guys, like I said, what I really want you to do today is take what I said today and start thinking about, is my business in a point where it can continue to duplicate itself? If I got on vacation right now, would my business continue running? And if the answer is no to any of these questions, it's okay. It's perfect. You're in the right place. You're here now with professionals that are going to help you understand how to take your job and turn it into a business, and how to take your business, if you already have a business, and make it grow to levels that we never thought were possible, in timeframes that we never thought were possible. Do not hesitate to reach out. Do not hesitate to ask questions. Always drop questions in the comments bar. Make sure to tell your friends, family, and everybody about this, because we are giving it available to everybody. I've got real quick the module 4. It is March 11th, Learn to Yearn to Earn. I like that name. I made it up. And what it is like learning to understand that you have to want to make money, and not just in a fashion of the person who's shallow that wants the new Gucci bag and that they say they want the most money in the world. That's falsehood. The person who goes out there and kills it every day, and they learn to yearn to earn. They read books with a voracious appetite. They continue to want to succeed. Autodidactism, number 2, that's on March 18th. That's one of my favorite topics. It's those of you and I who do not feel comfortable learning in a formal education environment. It's not that we don't feel comfortable, it's just that we don't like it, but we love to learn. So the same person who you might find us curled up at home under a blanket reading a book on trigonometry, but sitting through class, we can't deal with it because we can't learn at other people's paces. We like to learn fast. And then the next week, we go over the 40-hour myth, which is a very famous one of mine I really like to go over. And that's the idea that mainstream media and everyone has, forced you to believe that you have to work 40 hours to be successful. And if you work 40 hours, you should be paid enough to live. That is a myth that has been gone for a long time. If you want that to be true, go back to the labor fields and sell your hour for time and see how long it lasts. The only problem is your body gets old and you can't keep up with it. So let's talk about how to take it to an entrepreneurship level and maximize our own time through leverage. And then April 1st was self-reliance while delegating. So how to be reliable, but also how to delegate jobs. So how you can be there as a sideline guideline for everybody, but not be the mainstream and not be the head of the business as far as always being there, always working, but being there for people ultimately to help them during the process. So I'm going to end this segment just saying one thing real quick, guys. So you'll notice my talk, I didn't talk at all about the elephant in the room or whatever, which is COVID-19. This business building thing is not going to go over COVID-19 other than when we have to, because honest to God, guys, it is complete and total farce when it comes to your business being affected by it. Yes, getting shut down sucks. Yes, not being able to run your business is tough. And I understand some people are not going out of business, they're being put out of business. But this is a time where we have to stand up for ourselves, not in a fashion of breaking laws or anything, but stand up for ourselves as businesses and figure out how to become more dynamic and work in the environment that we currently have. Well, some businesses, maybe they do. Maybe they are doomed because of government that doesn't seem to care about how their businesses run. But most of us, it's about how to take your business that you have and to take it and spin it to what the new reality is. So that's why I'm not going to go all the time and say, no, due to COVID, I'm not going to do it often. I'll break off every once in a while, give you a little due to COVID things. But remember, guys, everyone is free to their own opinion, and anyone who doesn't believe that you shouldn't be doing what you want to do doesn't believe in freedom. This is America. God bless America. I'm glad to be working right out of Plymouth, right out of the birthplace of America, right down the street from Plymouth Plantation, right down the street from Plymouth Rock. Really proud of it, guys. Get out there, crush your business. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments bar. Look forward to talking to you next week. Highly, highly, highly recommend subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure you jump in and subscribe to the course. There's going to be bonuses given out for free to those of you who actually have subscribed to the course. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a great week, and I will talk to you next week.